What is up, hotties? Welcome back to another episode of Stay Hot, brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. I'm Blaiden Kirk, joined as always by my two favorite co-hosts of all time, Matthew Sponhour and Theo Ashton. If you can't tell, I am absolutely fired up by the finale of the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. The Iceman almost came through with, first of all, he has the magical moment at the end of the fourth quarter to just the most insane throw maybe I've ever seen, right? Which this is now, the third time we've said this season with Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Just absolutely magical. They weren't able to pull it off, and we're going to talk about that game as well, the other divisional round matchups. But I assume you guys are as fired up as I am. How are you guys doing right now?
Yeah, we're coming off watching the Sunday night game, and that throw from Caleb, even though they lost, is definitely at the forefront of my mind. I'm thinking about if it's the best throw I've ever seen in my life.
I don't think so.
Too.
You don't think so?
Go ahead. I'm not the throw.
I want Bryce Young.
First off, yes, absolutely. The Bryce Young touchdown to put them up against the Rams. Give me that one because it was for the Panthers. And that's my favorite team, and that's a better throw. Here's what I'll say. I don't know, like the best throw ever. It was crazy. It's like it's the craziest play of the year.
It breaks every rule of process for what you should do. Like, Theo, we're watching these prospects on the Stay Hot Patreon breaking down film, and we're like, don't turn your back to the defense. Like, you are not that guy to be able to make those plays. But the guy that we keep saying is that guy to make those plays is Caleb Williams. Like,
yeah, it's fun to muse. It's fun to muse in those, like, when someone else is breaking structure. We talk about, like, what is possible? What would Caleb Williams do? Like, that's who we say. Exactly, what would Caleb Williams do?
Has there been a throw like that where they also like threw the receiver open where they were super off platform? Because this is the one thing is like, it was just giving Komet a chance at the ball.
It went 51 yards in the air, and it was 26 yards behind the line of scrimmage when he threw it.
Right.
And we have not seen anybody throw it that far behind the line of scrimmage since 2016 when they started charting that kind of thing.
Is depth behind the line of scrimmage the marker for how good of a throw it is, though? I agree that, like, I don't remember the last time I've seen a guy just turn his back to the defense. He was literally running straight backwards 20 yards from the line to gain on fourth down.
My thing would be, what other way, I'll have to watch the tape on it, but, like, is there any other possible way that you could have gotten a throw even off there? Because he was under pressure pretty quickly. There's three guys on him. He doubles back, and then he just keeps going back because he's Caleb.
Right.
And still has the arm to throw it 50 yards downfield. And Kobe Durant's in front of Komet, and he cannot be thinking, like, this is going over my head. Like, look at he's half a football field away, literally.
This is the thing is everyone's like, how in the world did you judge the ball that poorly? But in his defense, no one's ever hit that throw before. Like, you're not expecting the ball to be that accurate, that deep into the end zone when he's running straight backwards. No one's ever done that.
Look, the greatest throw of all time was probably hit by Aaron Rodgers. I don't know which one it was, but it was probably him that threw it. And I think that throw is as good as anything that Rodgers ever did. I think it's up there with the Janis Hail Mary, which would probably be my first thought of Rodgers' greatest throw.
The one that I always think of is the one he hit against the Cowboys, like rolling to his
Jared
left.
Cook. I think that throw is better than the Jared Cook throw. I think he had one against the Bears in a random week, and it was actually called back by holding, so it didn't even count, but he danced through the whole defense and then threw it across his body to Adams. I think that Caleb throw is just as good as that one. Like, maybe I'll think about it a little bit more after the pod, but sure. I think that throw was as good as I've ever seen.
I think about that Cam Newton throw against Kentucky. The one where he was jumping out of bounds, and he led the receiver on that one. That's my immediate thought for best throw that comes to mind instantly.
That's not a bad shout.
This is one of those topics where it's like you kind of need to go investigate because you're not going to remember everything off the top of your head, and we're recording this right after. But I do think there's something to, in the way that Caleb got the ball off and the fact that he had the arm to get it there, like you couldn't be any what else could you possibly do outside of like the circumstances being that it was for the win with no time or something like that.
Right.
But we're talking specifically about the throw. But in terms of the placement, he just needed to put it in that area and then Kmet made a play on the ball. Whereas like if we're imagining what's the most difficult throw that could even be conceived of, or like what is another way that it could be more difficult, it's that they're like leading the receiver or throwing into a window. Caleb wasn't really throwing into a window here. And I'm not trying to be like negative about, again, what I think off the top of my head, craziest play of the year so far, and probably will be. It's hard to imagine that this one's going to get beat. But like, I don't know, if we're talking best throw ever, we might as well be strict about the criteria. And
yeah, I definitely think that a one-on-one, what would make it difficult, layering it or leading somebody really. So I do think that Cam one is up there. I recently became aware of that throw even existed when someone was tweeting out clips of him as a prospect, and like that throw is midway through the clips, and I had to do like a double take. I had to blink twice. It'd be like, what did I just see? He's running out of bounds. He's getting crushed. He like throws it back in bounds and then hits his guy like in stride in a tight window. Like it's pretty spectacular.
Cash. But also like we're all biased towards the quarterbacks that we know very well.
What
so
about,
you're like,
what
it's
about
got to
that
be a Rodgers
Justin
throw.
Herbert throw? Was it against the Giants, like his rookie year?
I think PJ Walker has a better throw than that.
PJ Walker has
that PJ Walker throw to DJ Moore.
Yeah,
pretty money. That was kind of a goated throw. That was one of the best ever, honestly.
What about the Mahomes incompletion in the Super Bowl laying sideways?
Mahomes has a couple where he is completely sideways.
The one I think the complete sideways one is up there, and I also think the one where he gets twirled around and put it in the back corner is up there too. Like I go back and watch that play, and it really had a great chance to be completed. Like it really did.
Yeah. Mahomes has got to have. He's got to have like one.
He has one to Tyreek over the top on a crosser to the right against the 49ers in the Super Bowl. That's also super ridiculous. He's got a couple that are super ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I think of more off the top of my head. So it might not be the greatest throw, but as far as Matt, you're definitely right on like greatest play or like most insane play that we've seen.
It's a crazy.
And that one was complete, unlike the Mahomes one.
Yeah, and this one was complete. I think the craziest part about it is the ability to run straight backwards and actually create distance between yourself and the defensive line.
I agree. I think through so much of like the great plays that Caleb can make, you really take note of just how fast he is and just how good of a job he can do, like going top speed and still being able to like make throwing plays with the football and not be committed to just running or not have to like change modes. You know what I mean? I think a lot of guys get into that where they might be fast at their top speed, but maybe they don't accelerate. Maybe they don't feel the pressure the same way, or maybe like they have to really tuck it to go 100%. Caleb, you don't feel that way. And, Collinsworth all night is like, he should just run more. He should just run all the time. And it's like, yeah, dude, he totally should. I had to agree with that 100%. Yeah. I mean, if we want to talk about the game a little bit, when you look back at this thing, it's really not surprising that the Rams came away with it, I feel like, with the way that they were running the ball and the number of mistakes that Chicago made. I mean, they had, I guess there were drops on both sides, but man, it felt like they had a lot of brutal drops. And Caleb ends the night with 3 interceptions, no?
He does.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. Not that they were all.
The last one, DJ Moore just like completely gave up on the route at the top.
It kind of seemed like Curl had a good angle at that regardless.
I think Curl might have still, I don't know if it would have been an interception, but Curl was playing.
I was thinking more the one where it was Loveland like thought it was man, and they said on the broadcast.
Oh.
And then that.
Yeah.
And the first one is a fourth down. It was good he threw that pick instead of it being incomplete.
Yeah, but it wasn't like actually an arm punt. He just misfired and it happened to be intercepted.
Sure, but an incompletion and an interception is the same thing there,
That's
you know
true.
what I mean?
But also like the issue isn't that nothing was open, so he just like tried something crazy. It's that he had a guy open and it was intercepted because he just missed him. Like that was just a bad miss. So it was an incompletion in that scenario specifically was still pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's true. But I think in general, you have to look at the way Caleb finished this season, both the regular season and the playoffs, and be very excited as a Bears fan for the future of him for him at quarterback and for the future of having Ben Johnson. Because I thought there were moments in this game where Ben Johnson kind of outcoached Sean McVay. We talked about that as a potential a difference maker in this game. I thought Sean McVay's decision to just kind of knee it out at the end right before overtime, I thought that was pretty lame. Like, you have 17 seconds and he had 17 seconds and 2 timeouts.
He had 13 seconds.
I thought it was 17. 13.
He had 17. He had 13 after the return, and he was at the 25.
After the return. Okay.
I think that's not the problem. It was run before when they didn't get the touchdown. Right.
The bad call that McVay made was with 2:07 left to go, and it's 3rd and 10. He decided to run the ball. And it's like, buddy, you might as well throw here, because let's say you throw in worst case scenario 2:01 incomplete pass, 4th and 10.
Right.
The punt still burns the 2-minute warning. You don't need to go out of your way to burn the 2-minute warning.
Yeah.
So they should have used that and attempted to actually pick it up, whereas a run is basically saying, like, we're just trying to play the clock. I didn't like that call very much.
Yeah, I thought just the end of game management from McVay was a bit questionable.
I thought this wasn't a very good coaching performance from either side, and I thought this was a messy game overall from both sides. Like, this was a game that was defined more by its errors to me than its greatness, 100%. Except for the Caleb play at the end, which was just like absolutely insane. But before that, like, this was just a slog, and really it should have been a shootout, right? When you look at it on paper, it's how is this not this game not 40-40, and it's 17-17, or it's 10-17, right? 10-10 at halftime. Mm-hmm. I thought Ben Johnson overall, like, really has to think about his approach going into next season. Like, you don't have Jared Goff anymore, man. And I feel like too often he is calling plays like he does. And I understand that a more balanced team is scarier than a one-sided one, right? You don't want to go against the team or you don't want to be the team that just like passes and to the point where it's, predictable, to the point where the wheels fall off.
And you spent all this like time and resources on building your offensive line. Like, you want to.
Yeah, but you got a backup offensive lineman in there. Tooney's over at left tackle. You can only run it to the right. Like, your running backs are solid, but not like that dynamic. You've got Caleb Williams. You're going up against the Rams with the season on the line. Like, to me, the extent to which he leaned on the run game, especially on like 3rd and short, 3rd and 2, which has been true all year. They have a 21% pass rate below expectation on 3rd and short. It's always a run. He always wants to get a little bit closer to make 4th down as close as possible. And I get that. I like going for it on 4th down, but you got to put the ball in Caleb's hands on some of these 3rd and shorts, man. Like, it was run.
And like, I think in terms of sneaking the ball is how you could put it in his hands, especially because there was on a lot of like 3rd and 1s. He's not going to sneak it. And I understand you want to protect your guy, but like, dude, short yardage, got to have it situation in the playoffs, man. Like, Caleb is strong for his size, and he's very quick. And I think he's proven to be like pretty good at sneaking the ball. So I think multiple times in this game, they get into a 3rd and 1 scenario where it's like reasonable to go for it, even on a 4th and 1, and they don't sneak it. They did earlier in the game. They ran twice, and it's like the Rams are just so ready to key down in on it. I feel like they don't even get creative on a lot of those. And it's like, man, I would love to see you either say, if we're going to run, let's let's just sneak it 2 times and live with the results, or let me dial up something a little bit more creative. Let me try to go out and win this rather than just kind of leaving it in the hands of the offense or leaving it in the hands of just like, some power play or whatever. So I was disappointed with that for sure. And when you look at like Chicago's issues over the last 2 playoff games, like they've hit a lot of high level stuff. Like Caleb's been crazy. The peaks have been insane. And you're like, oh my God, like not only him, but Burden and Loveland and all that. But how many like 4th downs and 3rd downs have they blundered? An unbelievable number. They won very much in spite of their inability to pick up anything big in that Packers game until very late. And I think, they made a lot of mistakes again, but they lost in large part because of the decision making by Ben Johnson on some of those. I agree.
And I would have gone for 2 at the end too.
Yes.
I just would have.
Yes, I agree.
It's not the end of the world, but like 2 yards for all the marbles. Like I'm taking that, dude. I'm taking that. And it's easy to say now that they've lost, right? But I just think he should have had his foot on the gas a little bit more than he did on their 3rd to last drive, because the last one was the crazy one. The second one, they get the second to, or in the 3rd to last in regular time. They have a 4th and 2 at midfield, and they punt it away too. Like, where is this aggression over the course of the whole game? This is what frustrates me about coaches all across the league. Early in the game, they're like, we like going for it, right? 4th and 2 at midfield, we like that. We want to be aggressive. Yeah. And then it doesn't work, and then they get scared. And I just don't understand how your process is, let's go for it, let's keep our foot on the gas at one point in the game, and then when the exact same scenario comes up later, your process is completely different in your punting.
You said it, Theo. They're scared.
They're scared.
Soon as it doesn't work,
as soon as it doesn't work, they're scared. Like you went for it on 4th and 4, deep in your own territory in the first half. Now you're punting it back to the Rams on 4th and 2 at midfield. Like, where is your? This is who you are, man. You're Ben Johnson. You're the Lions. You're the wild card game. Think about all the times you went for it. And now you're punting. It's still a good idea to go for it, man.
Yeah.
It is not too woke to go for it. There's never a time that you shouldn't go for it. If your defense is playing good, go for it and trust them. If your offense is playing good, trust your offense and go for it. Like, there's just no scenario where it's a bad idea to chase points. I swear it's not. Like,
we saw the same thing in the Texans and Patriots game. It was to a much larger extent because it was like 4th and 18. But the Texans were down 12 with like 3 minutes to go, and they punted on 4th down. And I'm like, why? Like,
and D'Amico before that game, he was like, I'm seeing these wild card games and everybody's going for it like crazy. And I've made the decision that we should kick the field goal. If everybody else is going to be doing this, we can find an edge by kicking the field goals. And look what happens. He does kick a field goal in the red zone on one of the few times they're down there, and he punts instead of going for it. Where did that get you, man? Like, it's not a free win to punt and kick field goals. I was very frustrated by Ben. I was very frustrated by the run sequences when they needed to get down and score, because if they score and their plan isn't to go for 2, they needed 2 drives. And there's 7 minutes left in the game, I think, when this drive started, and it ended. It was 10 play, 60
When did they need 2 drives?
They were down 10-7, 10-17. Yeah. Right. So they need to score, and then they need to stop the Rams, and then they need to get the ball back to win in regulation. And I don't know. I just was getting sick of the run sequences there, grinding the clock down, because you don't want Stafford to get the ball back with 1:30 left. He's clutch. You want to score with plenty of time, even in that 7-minute scenario. You don't want to go run.
I disagree with the run, not because of how it played the clock. You have 10 points in the game. If the run was the best way for them to pick it up, then that would be the best move. You need to focus on scoring. It's an incredibly low-scoring battle. And frankly, like, I don't disagree with them kicking the extra point. I don't even really see, like, why there's such a strong argument that they should. At best, it's about the same, right? Their odds. I mean, like, how can you say that they were, again, the Rams had put together 3 scoring drives. They'd scored 2 touchdowns, and like, you know that you're going to have a chance to get the ball back regardless. So I think if you have faith in your defense and you have faith in Caleb and what he just did, I think taking it to OT is perfectly fine. Now, if I thought that the Bears were like way outmatched in this game and like pulled off a couple of they pulled off one crazy play, but like there was no way they could drive the ball, then like, yeah, I'd go for 2. I didn't really feel that way. And honestly, like, they ended up losing, but it sort of played out beautifully. They won the toss and then got a 3 and out. And we're basically like 1 first down away from being in. We can kick a field goal and
but isn't that harder than a 2 yards? Like, you go for 2 there, you need 2 yards and you win. You could go to overtime. You need to put a drive together. You need to get a stop.
Yeah,
like,
but then so do the Rams.
Sure, but then
okay, if you're the
2
Rams,
yards is easy.
Obviously not. Many times they failed to pick up those big moments. You know what's easier?
I mean, many times they failed to put a drive together.
Sure. So why is it? But why are you disagreeing with? At worst, again, it's about the same.
I don't think it's about the same. I think it's easier to get.
It works both ways. Then the Rams only have to stop 1 play. Would you rather stop 1 play?
But it's 1 play for 2 yards. Would you rather be in 3rd and 2 or 1st and 10? Like, I'll take and 2.
What do you think the conversion? What do you think the conversion rate is on 2-point conversions? What do you think the percentage that those hit are? Like 100%? It's only 2 yards. No, I
think it's higher than your scoring rate.
It's like sub 50. But the Rams' scoring rate was the same that game. They also had it would have been a tie game, hence the overtime. So it's about even. I would say it's about a 50-50 shot. Now I'll agree, like, them winning the toss, which is like lucky and kind of a big deal. Yeah, they couldn't have seen coming. But dude, I don't think it's some like great advantage to go for 2 there.
Chicago,
I don't
57% going for 2 this year.
I would just go for 2 for the sake of being aggressive, and I would rather win in regulation.
I'm putting the ball in Caleb's hands, man. The
ball was in Caleb's hands.
Not on the kick, not on the extra point. Yeah, it's because he had to go because Moore stopped running.
Well,
that can happen on the 2-point.
Throw to someone. He's not going to throw to nobody.
He could run.
Look, I'm putting the ball in his hands to win the game because they put the ball in their defense's hands, and the defense came up big for sure. And then the ball was in Caleb's hands. The defense would not have been in that equation for me. And I think they should have used Caleb's legs more the whole game. There should have been more designed runs. When they're inside the 5-yard line, it shouldn't go run. It should go Caleb.
It should be rolling him out all the time.
It should be rolling him out all the time and
they just let him cheese the touchdown with ease because he's crazy.
He will cheese it. Just have him spin in a circle. Like, I'll take my success rate when he spins in a circle.
Just run for it. Just run for the score.
So anyway, there is a lot. Look, the 2-point conversion is honestly the least of my concerns, but it is what I would have done. So
yeah,
hire me if Browns,
I wouldn't have needed the 2-point conversion. We would have had 5 touchdowns by then. Cool, man.
We would have just blown him out big time.
I think that's like the most. It's a completely like
a non-issue.
Coin toss. Truly, I really think it is. I don't think it matters one way or the other. Unless you're really, really, really good at like 2-point conversions, or you think their defense is really bad.
You don't have the hook and ladder. Where was the hook and ladder? Every game against Green Bay, it's a big play. He's dialed up the most diabolical play call known to man, and then it's the Rams, and you're looking at your play sheet, and it's cobwebs. Like, what?
They really do got to roll him out more, though. I mean, it just feels like it'd be such a cheat code where even if it's bottled up, you have to deal with this crazy athlete. Yeah, I'm completely in agreement with you there.
And get in shotgun, like QB power read, like Caleb behind a pulling guard, or it goes to Swift, like Caleb rolling out, Caleb just more passing with Caleb. Just Caleb should have a usage rate that's amongst the highest in the NFL of all quarterbacks, and he doesn't in these playoffs, which is bizarre. And I think the reason why they've needed all these comebacks is because they haven't played with their foot on the gas in the first half, and then they get good when they put the ball in Caleb's hands. And I just feel like they never learned that lesson in this game. And look, Ben Johnson, we give grace to young coaches. But I said it on the last episode. I think I thought he was the worst coach left in the postseason. I think that came through today.
And,
I really
got eliminated.
They got eliminated.
I don't think he got like out coached by McVay here. I really don't.
Yeah. What do you think was behind? What do you think was behind the Rams' issues?
I mean, dude, they just had no answers for the Bears blitz. I mean, nothing.
It was
Matt was texting because he's like, dude, Stafford looks old. And the Bears were like, yeah, we're just going to keep sending DBs at you because you are not fast enough to make them miss. You are not quick enough to get the ball out like at the weird enough angles that he used to be able to throw around these guys. They just had no answers for it, especially in the first half. I feel like it got a little bit better in the second half, but he was looking like completely cooked in the first half. It was bad.
Yeah, those blitzes, they found something in the second half versus Green Bay, and really what it does is it keeps these under center teams and these play action teams out of those looks, because you don't want your quarterback to be blind with his back turned and all of a sudden the boundary corner is screaming off the edge, right? Or, those under center looks, they're better for running the ball, and you're just running into the blitz. So you get in shotgun, you have vision, and it forces these, it's harder to run duo on your guys, and there's more guys coming, shooting the gaps, and it really just is. It's their only option. They're backed into a corner with the front four that they have, and it's their only option is to blitz, and they figured that out. And yeah, it actually ended up working. Like playing press coverage on Puka Nacua in the snow, like shut them down to an extent that I just did not think the Bears were capable of. So it ended up being a good game plan. It was the only game plan they could have done, and it was a good game plan.
It was a good game plan against the team they were facing. I thought in what was the last Rams drive in overtime where they needed to pick up like one more first down to get into field goal range. I thought it was a mistake to play off coverage there on Puka. Mm-hmm. They still
Big
lined
mistake.
up in there. Like they lined up to blitz and they sent the house, but I'm like, why is everyone like backed up like 2 yards behind the first down marker? Like I thought that was pretty soft. I thought they should have keep your foot on the gas, get up in their grill, like keep with the press coverage. I thought that was a very weird call.
For sure. That was an obvious outcome when they're off on Puka. It's like, this is going to be a quick hitter to Puka and he's going to break the tackle. Like that's just, you could say that. Put me on the Manning cast, bro. Like I was saying that before it happened. You got it.
They would have called you Tony Romo 2.0 and
yeah, that one I had on the pre-snap alignment. Yeah, I keep pressing him. I thought that before the second half, or right before the second half ended, the Rams got a bit of a drive together and scored a field goal, and it was more soft coverage, right? And I get it. You're scared of Puka. You're scared of Puka in a 2-minute situation where everybody knows it's going to be a pass. Like right. Keeping that blitz press shit going. You don't want to give up the big play before halftime. But against the Rams, I think it's been proven now. Against the Panthers last week in that final drive, yes. And in the 2-minute situation before half this drive, like you got to play man against these guys. You got to press there. You got to be aggressive because zone, they pick them apart.
Yeah. And it's weird because we saw like the 2 plays prior or maybe it was 2 plays later. I'm getting all my plays mixed up now, but like, I feel like we saw them multiple times. We saw Stafford try and take shots down the field against this man coverage look, and it was squeezed to the sideline. Like there was nowhere for these receivers to really make a play. So it really did shock me to see them be so far off in that kind of a situation when like you had a shot to give Caleb Williams the ball back and keep them out of field goal range, or at least force them to take a much longer field goal, knowing that they have the issues that they have had on special teams this year.
I thought that the Rams ran the ball better than they actually did. Now that I'm looking at the box score here, I thought they put together a couple of drives where they were really grinding the Bears down. But I guess like between the final, like maybe a couple of drives where they were like running, obviously, and maybe some short yardage stuff, they didn't. I thought that was a bigger part of the game in my head, is that in the second half they were able to like really grind them down with Kyron, and that like Chicago didn't really have the guys up front to be an answer. Maybe, I don't know. What did you guys think? Am I way off on that?
I don't think you are. I think a lot of it was there were a couple of really big losses on the ground. And then, like, if we're just looking at Kyron's stats, like Kyron still averaged over 4 yards per carry, even with the big losses. But then you throw 6 Blake Corum carries in there. You throw 2 Puka carries in there that went for 3 yards. And then Jordan Whittington getting no yards on a carry, and Matthew Stafford losing a yard on a carry. Like, all of that slowly starts to stack up.
Oh, yeah.
And the average looks worse than it actually was.
They were 85th percentile EPA per play rushing on early downs.
Okay.
First and second down, they were moving the ball. They were still moving the ball.
I'm not crazy then.
No, you're not crazy.
And this is another one where, like, yeah, I thought Stafford had struggled with pressure. I thought the accuracy, was an issue on a number of throws. And then I thought Puka had some drops that I kind of attribute to the cold here a little bit. So it's another game where the Rams win. Like, yeah, I guess they're in the NFC Championship and like, cool, but cool, you don't feel as awesome about them as you might another team in the NFC that will also be in the championship game, if we want to get into that one.
For sure. It feels like they're a little bit less than the sum of their parts recently.
I agree. And I do think like it's totally possible for them to click and to give Seattle another great game. I mean, the last time, obviously they had like the big face off, and it took a number of big time plays from Seattle to get them to come out on top. But it doesn't feel like the Rams are rolling into that game as strong as they could be.
Especially not as strong as Seattle is rolling into this game, coming off a 41-6 annihilation of the 49ers, dude. And look, we talked about at some point the talent gap was going to probably catch up to San Francisco.
And well,
it did a little bit.
Matt, you said something great on the last pod of it feels like when a Cinderella March Madness 15 seed wins and everybody says they never thought we could beat the 2 seed, and now you're saying we can't beat the 8 seed. And
they said that last time, and it's like, that's true, and who knows, maybe we'll be wrong this time, but eventually they say that, and then it's like the slipper doesn't fit anymore and you lose by the slipper.
I try to be nice. And I regret it in our preview episode, but like I really watching the tape on the 49ers had nothing nice to say about what the Niners did. Like nothing at all. Nothing about the defense made me feel good about what they were going to do against Seattle. Nothing about the offense made me feel good about what they were going to do against Seattle. Like I don't think they got pressure on Hurts the entire game. The Eagles' routes and quarterback play was just like so mid that it didn't even matter that there was no pressure.
Respect Jalen Hurts, not his fault. No, it's a little bit his fault, but not entirely his fault. Not entirely his fault. There's a reason Kevin Patullo got fired.
There's a reason Kevin Patullo got fired, no doubt. But there's also AJ. Look, they got to prioritize AJ Brown. They got to listen to what his complaints are. Was kind of my takeaway after that game. Like he didn't play a good game, but I might say
he's got to catch the ball, man.
AJ, what do you want to have happen, and we'll go that direction instead of anybody else.
Yeah.
Those deep balls, they were a little far inside on the tape. I rewatched it. I was like, those were low
if he's
inside.
If he's a top 3 receiver in the league.
Sure, and he got to catch the one at the end. But they were early in the game. They were playing cover 3, the 49ers, and it was A.J. Brown, stop route, A.J. Brown, outbreaker. two high shells the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And then he had those two unfortunate deep balls that were not great throws, but also not great catch attempts, and then the egregious drop at the end. But I'm like, overall, I thought it probably was a bit too harsh on A.J. Brown right after that game. But anyway, that's
anywho,
that's a week ago now.
That's a week ago. We're talking about the 49ers this week and their disaster against Seattle. Theo, you sent a text that struck me, and you can score against this Seattle defense, just not with Brock Purdy.
Yeah, I mean, Stafford has obviously put up points against them in the past, and I think as good as their defense is, the one thing that stood out to me was sometimes the lack of pass rush and how Purdy had time to throw. But they are so good against the run, it is unbelievable. I mean, it is just carnage every single time that you hand it off against them. And there was a play against the Rams a few weeks ago where I stopped. And I thought it right then and there. I'm like, this is the most impressive tape that I've seen. I think they're going to get to and win the Super Bowl. And it was a play where the Rams were in 13 personnel and the Seahawks were in nickel and they were playing too high. And the Rams run their duo play and it just got crushed. It just got absolutely killed up front. And it's like, well, if you have every numerical and leverage advantage against the defense and you run your bread and butter play that you've ran more than anybody else this year and have the highest success rate on these runs in the history of the NFL, the Rams success rate run a duo this year, and it gets thrown back in your face like that, that is a superpower. That is something that is absolutely crazy. And that right then and there, I thought, okay, this Seattle team immediately makes you one-dimensional in a way that I don't even think the Texans do. Like, it's crazy. And so if you're the 49ers and your entire team is Christian McCaffrey, and you're going up against a team that stuffs the run better than anybody else and triggers downhill and tackles at a level like never before seen, like, you're just fucked. Like, there's just no game plan. There's no path to success. Like,
you just can't be this banged up, and any sort of catch and run stuff is just off the table against the Seattle defense. I agree. And then, of course, Seattle really did grind them down on the other end. Kenneth Walker had a fantastic game, and Darnold, just wasn't asked to do that much, right? So Shaheed took that first touchdown back. You're like, man, that's like the type of play that the 49ers needed to make 3 of or something like that for this to be a big game rather than it being an opening touchdown. We're already behind moment for the 49ers.
Yeah, that play really did. As soon as Shaheed took that back, I'm like, ooh, it could be bad. Like, that's the.
And you're looking at the aura of the stadium and the.
I completely agree.
When the ref was making that call, because the kicker tried to trip him, right, and the ref comes onto the headset, and it's like, I'm not going to be able to hear this ref. Like, it is so loud in there. It's gloomy. It looks like Seattle. Fucking 12th man is back. Legion of Boom is back. Like, the optics of it were immediately like, oh man, Seattle is.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the loudest crowd pops in Seahawks history, and they have a lot of really loud crowd pops.
Yeah.
So
I thought, I don't want to spend that much time on this game because I thought it was the least interesting
it was
of the 4 by a lot.
Yeah, the Seahawks are just really good. The 49ers were a terrible matchup. The 49ers were 0 for 0 in the red zone.
They didn't see it.
They did not see the red zone. They were in some other color.
Well, I can transition this pretty easily because the 49ers turned the ball over 6 times, including turnover on downs in this game. And they lost by...
Go ahead. Actually, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They turned the ball over 6 times in this game, including turnover on downs, and they lost by 35. Another team that turned the ball over a lot was the Buffalo Bills. They turned the ball over 5
There's
times.
one more thing. Now you're transitioning to us to another game, and it was a good transition. But
yes,
Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, he had a fantastic game. He's really phenomenal, and I almost said I really was noticing his aura. He's super special.
That, I think, Charbonnet, your job here is done. Your work here is done, is what I was thinking in that game. And I think that the Seahawks, they don't need a lot on offense. They don't need a ton. And with Walker playing that way in the first playoff game, and with the tight ends blocking the way that they do, like, they've gotten pretty good at running, I think, wide zone. And it wouldn't matter if they were just some average team and they were, last year's Saints team with Kubiak, right? The level at which they run that play would not be like notable in the landscape of the NFL. But the fact that they've gotten like pretty damn good at running that play, and their tight ends are like pretty elite at blocking and like taking out that edge and climbing and kind of transferring assignments kind of in the middle of the snap based on who's stunting and kind of who shows up. They're very free flowing. It feels like they've kind of mastered, at least maybe not physically that play, but the assignments of that play. And then you've got Walker who can bounce it, who can take it all the way back, right? Like, the fact that they've gotten pretty damn good at that, and Kupp can really block, it feels like they have enough there in the run game that the offense can sort of reliably complement the defense. And I thought Walker's game, and the way, like, Seattle's front again, very banged up, fake playoff team caliber defense, right? But it was nice to see a Kenneth Walker masterclass, and nice to see his contact balance and his explosiveness. And we love Kenneth Walker on this podcast.
He's an easy guy to love. He's exciting to watch. But yes, let's talk about the Buffalo Bills, because they also turned the ball over a lot, and they only lost by 3 points. And I think I am sick. Like, I'm always sick of ref ball discussions. I'm especially sick of it after this game. Like, that interception was not only an interception, it was an interception because Josh Allen underthrew the football, not because, like, the refs called it wrong. Like, the pass interference calls only happened because Josh Allen threw an interception. Like, play better and you don't put yourself in the position that you need good calls to go your way. Like,
I think the interception was definitely an interception. You have to control it to the ground if you're making a catch, and he didn't, and he really didn't have it for that long. And some of the angles, I get how you could think otherwise, but when you see the angle where you really get a good view of the ball as he's taking it to the ground, you're like, this really isn't quite as close to a tie as you would think.
It looked like an interception in real time to me. So, like,
yeah, they called it interception on the field. Like, what do you want him to do? Overturn that? Like, clear and indisputable evidence that he had it? Right. Like, I don't understand what people are talking about. I feel crazy on Twitter. Big names talking about how the Bills were robbed. Like, and then they show these screenshots where it's just a 4K view of Brandon Cooks' ass. Insane. The screenshots, you can't even see the ball. It's like literally just two butt cheeks, and it's like, what? What am I supposed to be looking at here?
I don't know if I can make a call off that, man.
No, the screenshots are actually psychotic, dude.
Look, I thought that was a fine call. I mean, look, I get it. Like, if I was a Bills fan, I would be frustrated by that too. And
yeah,
you get a little bit of bad faith arguing. I respect it. I thought that when it came to the pass interference calls, I do think that the first pass interference that they actually called was like a bad call. I didn't think there was quite enough there.
But on that play, there was also
the roughing the passer, and it was like, oh man, that really is roughing the passer. You really do have to call, which is honestly like incredibly rare. If I'm being real,
it is rare.
It is unbelievably rare.
But, like, Bosa was in so late, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it was definitely like 2 steps and then a hit. I also think the first PI maybe wasn't PI, but I do think it was defensive holding. Like, I do think that Teron Johnson grabbed a hold of Cortland off the line of scrimmage and held him from getting to his spot on time. Like, I didn't mind a flag. Maybe it wasn't.
Regardless of a flag is fine there. On the second one that they called, I feel like I'm a little bit more of a let them play guy. Like, I want to see late in the game, if you can. I understand it should always be the same all the time, but it's not. And it's like, if it's late in the game and you can avoid throwing the flag, avoid throwing it. Mm-hmm. But if a guy grabs the dude's arm and holds it down while he's trying to go up for the catch, And I mean,
He's
White
not
was
looking at the
there
ball.
way early, not looking at the ball, holding an arm down, not making a little contact with his body, not arm fighting, but holding the arm down. It's like, you can't not call that. And if that's not a pass interference in a big time moment, then anything short of just like pushing a guy over entirely or tackling them isn't pass interference. And it doesn't work not calling plays like that. You have to. So, I mean, it was unfortunate. I didn't want to see the game end on penalties, of course, but I thought that the refs were perfectly fine in this game. And I thought Sean Payton made a fine point about like, yeah, it might have been holding in the end zone and it could have ended in a safety right there.
Yeah.
But you can go back and review every play from the game and put everything in slow motion, I'm sure, and find a bunch of stuff. That's not really what's the most interesting thing to talk about from this game. No. You're right that like the Bills turned the ball over a ton and did not lose this game by that much. And the reason for that is because I thought they got a lot of what they wanted on offense. You know, last week we saw a Jaguars team that has a very good run defense stifle them. This week, they did a great job running with strength. Didn't feel like Denver could match up the way that you would want. And they were able to build a lot of the rest of their offense that they like to get to off of that. So the screen game I thought was hitting. The play action game I thought was hitting. The tight ends were getting open. Unfortunately, like at a point, the turnovers are going to kill you. And I mean, there was 5 of them total? Yeah. 5 of them total, and 4 of them were for Allen.
Interceptions, 2 Josh Allen fumbles, and a James Cook fumble.
So the James Cook fumble, I mean, you can't fumble there, man. It was a heck of a tackle. So I thought that was one that the Broncos really earned. Obviously, a fumble, like on some level, is an error by the offense as much as it is a great play by the defense. But I thought that one was particularly like, wow, that's about as textbook of a tackle as you can possibly make.
It's a beautiful thing that a football game in the playoffs at the NFL level gets decided by the technique you learn on day one of tackle football.
That's a good point. It really,
like,
I mean,
I was thinking about my tackling drills when I played in 6th grade, right? Like literally nothing, right? In the fucking backyard of the middle school, right? Like against, not even against other schools, just like scrimmages against ourselves. You got the
like pads that you wrap up on and the
right. Like literally the shit that we were learning day one there, like is the best football play that you can make in certain instances and swings a playoff game. I was hyped up about that tackle, like cut back from Cook. He's in the next hole. Ooh, there's a linebacker, like bang, huge hit, perfect hit, helmet right on the ball, wrap up, drive the legs. Cinema, fundamentals, eliteness is just fundamentals taken to the highest level. And that right there was proof.
Yeah. So then there was the Josh Allen fumble before half. I mean, just a mind-bogglingly bad mistake. As bad as any mistake as he's ever made, as far as I'm concerned.
The worst play of his career.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, especially since this ended up being a 3-point loss. I know it was in overtime, so like I guess if it had been, whatever. It's I mean, it's a disaster. I suppose he was looking for a lateral, right? As if it's like, that's what I thought. Like he was kind of like half jogging and like looking behind them and holding the ball out, but there wasn't anybody there. It just, that one felt less like Denver made a great play rather than the Bills just made like a horrible mistake. You had the other fumble, which was Benito, Shakir like whiffs on a chip, and then Dawkins has zero hope of getting out there.
Yeah.
I thought like, obviously on some level it's on the quarterbacks to feel the pressure and avoid that and not wind the ball back at the wrong time. But if there was a not his fault fumble, I didn't think that one was particularly on him. But still, like, it was also a bad play by Shakir and Dawkins, first and foremost, is my thought. That's how I'll put it.
It's definitely some of the issues with chip help. Sometimes tackles don't like chip help because it messes, like, they got to wait for the chip to engage. And those are kind of the horrors of chip help, where Dawkins can't quite get into his normal set. Benito is rushing high side, like Shakir is more harmful than helpful in that scenario. Like, yeah, you'd like a chip on Benito, but maybe widen him and then like kind of chip him from the outside in instead of the inside out, so that doesn't happen. Like schematically, I think there was a failure there more than just like, why doesn't Josh go beast mode and stiff arm Benito?
I agree.
And I think the rest of the game, they mostly had Dawkins one-on-one on Benito, and they're like, we're actually better off kind of without this chip help because Dawkins is a really good tackle, and I think did a pretty good job on Benito for most of the night. But yeah, that one was just like, so the horrors of
I didn't think that was Josh's fault first and foremost. He had the interception on the throw deep to, was it Curtis Samuel?
On the left
that
side,
he was trying for.
Like bracketed.
I didn't think that was a particularly well disguised throw. I guess they saw that coming from a mile away, and it was a good play on the ball, but I thought it was also underthrown. I thought if he had put that thing with a lot more distance, like there wouldn't have been a chance to undercut it like that. So I thought that was on Josh a lot. And then the final throw or the final turnover to Cooks, it was an underthrow, not to the level where Cooks had no shot at it, obviously, but it definitely turned it into a 50-50 ball. And it's tough that Cooks did not end up coming away with that one. And there's worlds where he does, they kick the field goal, they win the game, and we're talking about like, yeah, Josh made like a lot of dumb mistakes, but they're still alive, and, you know, the Patriots are gettable, and that should be a great game and whatever. And you can talk about a lot of the good stuff that Josh did in terms of like, you know, he was a big threat on the ground and in the short yardage, and some of the maneuvering in the pocket that he did in dealing with pressure and creating when nothing was there was good from him. But I thought between the turnovers that I feel like were more on him than not, of the 4 that he made, obviously, and between a number of misfires that he had, it's hard to come away from this game saying that Josh did not play really, really poorly, and that the loss doesn't necessarily entirely fall on him, but like certainly he shares a big part of the blame. And it's frustrating because it's frustrating because so much of the talk was like kind of preemptively trying to blame him without ever seeing how he played. And Josh has lost games that he's played great in before. And, you know, the playoff record, I think, reflects more poorly on him than his actual play in the playoffs does, at least in terms of like the divisional round or whatever. He's 2-6. But there's no way around it. Like, Josh fed into a lot of the hate that he's getting, and I don't think that you can sit here and deny that today, unfortunately. I don't think this means he's like a horrible loser forever, or whatever. I mean,
no, it does.
The number of quarterbacks right now who are considered like playoff sinkers or droppers is unbelievably high among the guys. It's like literally everybody, and it's
everyone.
And I'm not even like trying to run Josh Allen interference, and I know this is how it's going to be taken, but it's like, dude, we are kind of running out of dudes at a point. Like, think about your top 20 quarterbacks in the NFL. How many of them fall into the category of widely considered on, like, if you were to go talk about it on Twitter, public opinion is that they are a loser or a playoff stinker, or they are considered somebody who maybe has won, but is not the driving force behind those wins and is being basically carried on some level. The answer is like
all of them.
It's almost all of them, except for Mahomes, except for Stafford, who, to be clear, once was that guy until he got traded to a better team.
Yes.
And then
also hasn't been there in 5 years.
Right? And also has been carried in this playoff run.
Yes.
And then on top of that, like, I would say some of the young guys who have maybe only been in the playoff one time or only played a couple of games haven't been in it enough to like really have people form like opinions like that, or just them getting there has been considered like the team and the player meeting expectations, right? So I just think like if we're saying that about this many guys, I feel like it says more about the label rather than the players on some level. But Josh played terribly.
Josh did play poorly, but you're right, Matt. It does say more about the label. And we sort of have this discussion every year that, like, it's impossible to sit here and judge quarterbacks based on these like super small one playoff, two playoff game sample sizes over the course of, 3 or 4 years when they play 17 other games a season. And, you talk about Lamar Jackson. Oh, he's a loser in the playoffs. You talk about Josh Allen. Now he's a loser in the playoffs. It became more unfair this year because with Mahomes and Lamar and Burrow being out, it now puts a lot of external pressure on Allen and Herbert and Lawrence and Stroud, and we'll get to Stroud in a minute.
Well,
but
to some extent, Allen is a loser in the playoffs. He's never won.
Yeah, but like, who has? Is the
Yeah,
I don't think. I guess like there's a balance to find with it. Like, if a guy plays bad in the playoffs, it's okay to move your opinion on them. Like, Allen played bad and like they lost in large part because of his terrible turnovers. Like, you can't ask people not to take that into account. And like Lamar has played bad games. Herbert did have a stinker, but like I'm just saying we're sitting here and it's like, that is most guys. It's at least 7 of my top 10 quarterbacks.
It is. And it's like, what opinion, like, how does it actually change your opinion on Josh Allen? Because the answer should be like, well, you should have thought he was QB2 before this game. And you should think he's QB2 after this game. Like, that's my opinion on Josh Allen. Like, you're an idiot if you didn't think that he was a top 3 quarterback going into this game.
I thought he was QB3 before this game.
Sure, yeah, a top 3 quarterback going into this game, and you're an idiot if you don't think he's a top 3 quarterback now. And he played a bad game, no doubt about it. He played a bad game. He was 0 for 9 on 20 air yard throws in this game.
And 2
0 for 9. And with the 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
The 2 interceptions, again, pretty crazy plays, especially the second one. But yeah, not what we've come to expect from him. The total Brett Favre, why would you even ponder passing moment? And you can't sit here and say like Josh balled out when that happened. But they did go 10 of 15 on third down. Larry Ogunjobi jumped off sides on a third down. There was on a fumble that they recovered. There was an incredible Josh Allen play that Keon Coleman dropped and there was holding, but you saw him like stiff arm a defensive lineman and put that ball in the back of the end zone. They didn't punt one time the entire game. They never punted.
True. And
they scored 30 points on a really good defense. So at the same time, it's still like, even in these bad Josh games, and it is a bad Josh game, it's still like, damn, he's scary. And he can erase a 13-point deficit in a real hurry. And I think even a banged up, I think when he was 0 for 9, and I think he had some of these fumbles because like maybe his fingers fucked up and his arm is just so injured that his arm has lost about 5 yards.
Fumble at the end of the half is just so stupid.
It's so stupid.
It's just so stupid. I'm sorry. Like, I agree. Like I said, the rushing is and some of the way that he like maneuvered the pocket, like obviously it wasn't all bad all the time, but like he missed just a ton of throws and he had a bunch of bad turnovers on missed throws, and that cost him the game. And
I don't think it's unfair to say that some of that could be like he's banged up from just taking a
no doubt. I mean, the deep ball stuff, I definitely think the deep ball stuff, I definitely think that the injuries had something to do with that. But then maybe you got to adjust the throws that you're making. I don't know.
I thought that Bo Nix played a pretty decent game. I thought he played good.
Yeah, getting to the other side, definitely.
Playoff riser, question mark?
He's played 2 games. So if you want to call him that, like, I thought Bo Nix played really good is how I should put it, honestly. He hit a number of really big throws. He had 2 shots in the end zone that were incredibly well placed. And while on some level, like, they were the type of throws where it's the receiver runs under, I thought both of them were still like really, really on the money. And I thought that seam shot that he had was also a really high level throw. On top of that, like, he did a good job not taking any sacks. Granted, like Buffalo's pass rush, Joey Bosa, where are we?
Disappeared.
Good Lord, man. But I thought it wasn't perfect, obviously. Like, there were a number of misses, and he had, Walker caught that interception, which is about the biggest guy you can get a big guy interception for, so shout out to him. But I thought overall, like, he played a very, very good game. And we talk about, like, okay, before we said, do we think he's the worst quarterback of the 8 remaining in the divisional round? Well, he certainly didn't play like that. And honestly, like, not to have my opinion, I guess, swayed too much by, like, one game, but, like, I don't think that he is. I think as it stands right now, we'll get into it, like, Stroud is worse, for sure, at least. If I'm a Broncos fan, you know, I'm feeling pretty good about his performance, in spite of the fact that, like, okay, he's got a broken ankle now out of completely nowhere. And how bad does that suck, man? That's such a bummer.
I think
accidentally became important at work.
Jarrett
Stidham.
I think people might expect to turn this podcast on and have me say, look, they've got a good Bo Nix isn't all that. He's a game manager. Like, Jarrett Stidham has a chance. That's not my thinking. That's not my thinking right now. I don't think that Jarrett Stidham is going to go on a Nick Foles run. I really don't. Now, I was at the week 2 preseason game in Denver where Jarrett Stidham had like a perfect passer rating and kind of balled out. But I still don't really think that he's winning against the Patriots, the Seahawks, or the Rams, because guess what? Even with Knicks playing a good game, and even with 5 turnovers, they need to go to overtime against the Bills. All right, they needed to go to overtime against the Bills. Like, I don't think this is as dominant of a roster as the other guys in the playoffs. And everybody says, like, oh, Nick Foles, he did it. Nick Foles went 8-2 as a starter in 2013 and had a 27-2 touchdown interception ratio, led the league in adjusted net yards per attempt, led the league in rating, like, made the Pro Bowl. He was a Pro Bowl quarterback before that Super Bowl run in 2017. Like, he probably had a winning record as a starter going into that game. Yeah, he did. He was 20-16. Like, Jarrett Stidham is not that kind of backup. Like, he does not have that resume. He does not have that track record. And yeah, Bo, I thought he did manage the game. Like, he didn't hit some of this insane stuff that you see like Lamar or Patrick Mahomes do, but like, managing the game is a lot more than you can say for most of the quarterbacks we saw this week.
Yeah, and I thought a lot of it was like, Knicks played well. He hit a number of big throws. He did a good job not taking sacks. I think his legs being a threat was nice, and the fact that they could go scramble drill. And also, I felt like Peyton called a really good game.
Peyton called a really good game.
That kept the offense chugging for a lot of it. And things kind of stalled towards the end, but they picked it back up just in
First
time.
down for Knicks was mostly checkdowns until the 40-yard check down, which is a one-on-one ball. I'm stealing that from Eli Manning. He called a go ball a 40-yard check down. I like that term. It's a good throw. But like you said about Caleb, Matt, I like closed windows throws. I like non-first read throws. So that throw, I know that those go balls, you know how I feel about go balls. That's the 40-yard check down, and then the rest were all kind of short throws. But on third downs, like, there were some disguised coverages for the Bills where they get to those like Tampa coverages out of like a blitz look, right? And Knicks was chilling. Like, Knicks did not care about that rotation at all. Layered it over to the middle to Cortland Sutton a few times. Didn't catch them all. The seam to Mims, like you said, was a disguise too high to cover 3 spin, and he just gets right to that seam in that void in the zone. Those were the things that impressed me more than even that Mims throw. That Mims throw was a dime, no doubt about it. But like, process wise, layer wise, I like those intermediate throws, and Knicks had those as well.
Yeah.
Definitely, when Bosa did get pressure, Knicks made him look like a clown with his legs. I just don't think that Stidham is going to have that kind of sack avoidance. I don't know if he's going to be able to hit that 40-yard check down. I just don't know. They only ran it 8 times in this game for like 41 yards with their running backs. Knicks was their leading rusher. Like, they really didn't have a ground game against a really bad run defense. I thought the running backs did a really good job catching checkdowns and making the first guy miss. Like, they could not tackle Harvey in space.
Yes, he had some really, really big. Was it in overtime, like, to get a big chunk, or was it? It was maybe late. Was it late in the fourth quarter? I know if you watch,
it was right after the Allen. pick, I think.
Not that it's good. You remember that play that happened in the game? That was crazy. But
remember that play?
Yeah, it was their second drive in overtime, 2nd and 7. RJ Harvey takes it 24 yards.
That was a big one. I think there was a ball that got tipped that he caught in the flat, and then he got crushed and broke that tackle. Like, he just consistently broke that first tackle on some of these checkdowns. I thought, even though he didn't have a huge box score production, he was huge in this game because Nix wasn't pushing the ball down the field a ton, but he had some really successful checkdowns to Harvey. And he was managing the game at a really high level, I thought. The pick was bad, but outside of that, it was pretty good from Nix. It was very good.
Yeah,
I think even if Dion didn't catch that, there was someone behind. He kind of threw it into traffic behind Walker. So I was like, that was bad. But
outside of that, no, he was really good. He was really strong.
Yeah, I think they could have won a Super Bowl with the way he was playing. I think they could have won a Super Bowl with the way he was playing in that game. And now with Stidham, it is all up in the air because even with Nix, I think it was questionable surviving like that 5 turnover game barely. Like, they could have won a Super Bowl, but it was very, very, it would have been kind of a miracle run. And now you're dealing with this backup. Like, it's tough for me to see it. It's tough for me to see it.
Yeah. But who are they going to play in the AFC title game? Let's talk about them. The New England Patriots going up against the Houston Texans. Talked about this defense as being as ferocious as it gets, and they absolutely came through, forcing a number of Drake May couldn't hold on to the football to save his life. He got stripped 4 different times, lost 2 of them, and they still scored 28 points and won by 12. And a lot of that was because the Patriots defense was playing well, but also CJ Stroud had just the worst game imaginable.
The worst game possible.
It's unbelievable, the 2 playoff games that he played combined, like how bad that he has been under pressure. I have something to say about May, but when it comes to Stroud, I just think that, like, look, it's a tough situation with the injuries that they had on the offensive line and with the pass catchers. Like, everything got screwed up for sure. But there were multiple times where he would get under pressure and he would have a guy. And we've seen Stroud. I remember vividly. It's like we've seen him in his rookie year do a better job of like standing tall and delivering passes under pressure with accuracy. And instead, in this game, when he got under pressure, he like wouldn't, they said on the broadcast, drive the ball. It's like, yeah, he's throwing these like lollipops up to guys who are open, but not putting anything under him, just like panicking and noodle arming them, and then giving the defense a great chance to run under them. He had at least 2 of those where I'm like, I just have no idea what he's thinking. Whereas, like, I think somebody else who's not even good in that situation and gets overwhelmed would at least like put some zip on it and prevent those from getting intercepted. It really did feel like a confidence or just like a mental issue with him. I mean, obviously panicking under pressure is, but even beyond that. And it didn't help that like the conditions are bad. I mean, one of the interceptions was actually not his fault. Like, it was on Hutchinson. It was a fine placed ball, but Stroud, like, man, just a really tough performance. And then on top of just like his maneuvering in the pocket, like really stunk. And like his accuracy was brutal. I do think the weather really crushed both of these teams in this game. I do think it's a smidge underrated how big that impacted them. Like Drake May, he had 4 fumbles. One of them was like just truly though like a punch out on a run. And there were a lot of punch outs. I think, you got to hold on to it. But the ball obviously was incredibly slimy out there. He has this tendency to stand too long in the pocket, right? And it's a good thing a lot of the times, but sometimes it allows, these crazy edge rushers to get at you and knock the ball away. And when it's Will Campbell, you're muted, Theo. When it's Will Campbell getting crushed by these edge rushers and has no chance, and it's a wet and rainy day out, like the combination of that tendency of the game that Campbell played, of the edge rushers that are out there, and of the weather conditions means that, yeah, you're going to fumble a lot. Now, the difference between Stroud and May is, number one, they didn't lose all 4 fumbles. They only lost 2 of them. And May had an interception, but it was a Hail Mary. And number 2 is that May at least countered with some high-level plays that helped balance the thing out. And he was going up against a crazy Texans defense. So the bad plays were bad for sure. But did he have a great throw to Booty in the end zone? Like, yes, although that was a hell of a catch. Booty, all right, give him this. That was nuts. The throw to Diggs as well, though. And on the first touchdown drive, a lot of very accurate strikes from May. Mm-hmm. So that accuracy and that confidence to hit those throws, I think, did enough, again, against a defense that is really, really crazy. But yeah, May definitely, he took 5 sacks.
Yeah. But you're fine letting him take those 5 sacks because you want the ball in his hands. He's the.
Well, there was a point in the game where it was close, and it's clear the Patriots are like, we just can't fumble the game away when Stroud is playing this, and we're having these pass protection issues. And it's not all May that he got sacked that many times. Like, again, Campbell played a brutally bad game, but yeah, at a point you just had to say, the Texans got it within 1 score after half, and it's like, you can't just say we're going to run the ball 1,000,000 times. Oh, and then on top of all of this, outside of the quarterbacks, the Texans' offensive line had nothing for the Patriots' interior defensive line in the run game, so they averaged 2 yards a carry or whatever. And on the other side, the Patriots, they weren't great, but they were at least marginally better, and towards the end of the game when they needed to grind it out, they were able to just enough to, sort of seal the thing. So
Stroud was a victim of every NFL Live analyst taking the Texans.
Yeah, I mean, you saw that.
If that was all Patriots, Stroud would have been played fine.
I was honestly shocked to see them all take the Texans because I feel like we all took the Patriots in this one.
I was surprised to see that too, off of such a horrifying Stroud game. And it is a little crazy that then Stroud turned around and had another equally horrifying game. Maybe even worse.
So the question now that the Texans are going to have coming into this offseason is, what do you do? Because Stroud is entering a contract year. You could trade him. You could extend him. You could pick up his 5th-year option. My current standing is, you do not want to be out there looking for a quarterback when there are just more teams that need quarterbacks than there are quarterbacks available.
I think I'd offer him an extension. I'd say 5 years, $40 million.
Total?
What do you say? And if he says no, then he plays out his contract year, and then the issue sorts out itself.
You don't pick up the 5th-year option if you can't get an extension?
Yeah, maybe I'd probably pick up his 5th-year option and then let him play this year without a contract extension. Well, unless he accepts his probably a 5th-year option or yeah. Go ahead. I'm stumbling. Save me.
That's probably about where I land. Is that I'd still probably give him the 5th year, but I mean, he clearly, it's hard to deny, and he's been coasting off of the rookie year where he was just a better player than he is currently. And the Texans, their offensive infrastructure isn't perfect, but that doesn't mean that he's just absolved of all blame and not responsible for how he plays at all, especially in year 3. I mean, as it stands right now, the main reason why you question the Texans window is his play. Even if they were running, just not the greatest receiver room and the run game was struggling. If they had a quarterback who was playing just even at a top 10 level, whoever, things would be completely different. I mean, they easily could have won this game. Like you said, easily they could have won this game.
He didn't even need to play well to win this game. He just needed to not have the worst performance.
Dude, he was so bad that D'Amico Ryans punted down 2 scores with 4 minutes left. That's how bad he was. They literally put the ball in Will Anderson's hands. We have a better chance at forcing a fumble than we do our quarterback picking up 8 yards.
Yeah, my girlfriend, at the same time Brett Coleman's tweeting out they gave up, my girlfriend's like, did they just give up?
She knows as much ball as the prominent NFL content creator in the world. Like she cooked with that. Like, yeah, they did give up. They gave up on CJ Stroud in that moment. So like,
yeah, I mean, it was insane.
So do you give up on CJ Stroud forever? I thought it was a good move to keep him in there. I was feeling pulling him, like, definitely. That pick that he threw to Carlton Davis, both of them were terrible. One was an out and up, and he's capping it in quarters, and the throw's not there unless you put a bullet on his back shoulder, and he lofts it right to Carlton Davis. I thought, like, maybe the receiver ran a wrong route. No, the receiver was running to that zone. It's just a bad throw. And the second one, Stroud isn't under pressure. It's running to the sideline, the receiver, and Stroud just puts it a mile behind him. Like, if it was a regular season game and the nation wasn't watching, like, yeah, you probably do say, like, oh, he's got to be hurt. We're pulling him. But I feel like he's the second overall pick. He's gotten you this far. I liked Ryan Clark's point in his whole rant at halftime. Like, he's gotten you to this game every single year that he's been there, right? So, like, why would you pull the plug now? Think about Russell Wilson in 2014. He had a 0 passer rating at halftime, and the Packers were winning. And then the Legion of Boom happened, and Rodgers had all these picks, and they were able to kind of come back, and Russ was still your franchise quarterback and hit the big throw at the end. Like, I do think that it was smart to give Stroud that chance, and he just didn't. He played a little bit better in the second half, I'd say, but like not nearly enough.
Yeah, I think he played a little bit better in the second half. I agree, but not enough for it to be like a big difference maker. I mean, the thing is that I don't feel like Stroud got them here this year. He's on the team, and this is where they are, but like he didn't get them there. I'm willing to stick with it because, again, like, it's just so difficult to find the quarterback, and like you look out at the landscape, and unless something appears to them, like there's just like zero like.
Has Mills
crazy option? Look, what I'm saying in terms of just like sticking with him for, like, going forward, in the same way that like he was great and then has completely turned down. Like, it's possible for guys to turn up. Honestly, you know who he was reminding me of? He was reminding me of Bryce Young when he had that stretch in his second year early where I'm like, what has happened to this guy's ability to deal with pressure, like, at all? It's completely nothing. And Bryce got straight up benched for Dalton. Dalton comes in, looks better. And then Bryce comes back and, whatever you think of him, he's certainly been better, certainly feels better than that stretch. So on some level, I think, like, yeah, you drafted this guy's second overall pick and you've seen good play out of him before, like serious good play. You have to hold out for a turnaround. Like, yes, I feel like, again, unless something opens itself up, like a crazy trade for a star QB that you didn't think was going to be available or something like that, and you want to be aggressive, that'd be cool. But yeah, like, as it stands right now, it's pretty ugly, man. This was pretty bad.
It was.
Yeah.
I think you got to pick up the fifth year, though, build out the offensive line more. That's still, I think, your top priority. And you need to get healthier at receiver, too. Like, Nico in this game sucks.
His pocket management and his ability in the rain and the weather, it makes me think, like, maybe he can turn his career around and he can get better than this low point, right? But like, maybe that looks like Jared Goff. Like, maybe that looks like really strong run game, really high run rate, like a lot of play action, a lot of those digs to Nico Collins, and you kind of take stuff out of off Stroud's plate, which could be a win to stabilizing his play, but it's also a QB play that you feel like you might be able to find with the last pick in the draft. Some teams are able to find that with the last pick of the draft, or, the residual, like, trade of Matthew Stafford. You just kind of get this throwaway guy and he's able to do that. Like, that's not what you picked with second overall. You want Caleb Williams, you want Drake May, you want Jaden Daniels. And that is where I worry about Stroud is, like, I feel like the answer is just limiting him. And that's why Anthony Richardson.
I find it hard to compare him to his draft selection because we're now in what years?
I do agree what's done is done on some level.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe
disappointing. It's just disappointing.
It's super disappointing. And Anthony Richardson.
And that's why they should have picked Anthony Richardson, is because Anthony Richardson can drive it in the wind and the
Anthony
rain.
Richardson would have had one crazy play in this one, I swear, though.
Would Anthony Richardson have played as bad as CJ Stroud?
I'm keeping my eye on the EPA numbers because Stroud's been inefficient. Richardson's a little bit higher than you'd think, and Stroud's dropping like a stone, and Richardson is still.
Were you victory lap Richardson's EPA crossing Stroud's?
If Stroud's falls below Richardson's, I am tweeting it out.
That'd be awesome.
Stroud is a little bit too. His rookie season. No,
tweeting it out like, oh, this is a fun fact that I found. That's BS. You can't do that. You have to be like, I told you. I told you.
He is QB1 definitively. He's still above Bryce in that category, and he's closing on Stroud, just sitting there doing nothing.
Posting the EPA graphic of Richardson, Stroud, Bryce Young.
He's gaining, bro. He's gaining.
They're just gonna quote tweet and say, "Yeah, this is the worst QB class of all time." That's all I'm gonna say.
I still have all my stock. I'm just letting y'all know. I'm still letting y'all know that they tried to bury me. They tried to bury me in A-Rich, and we're not.
Look, man.
We're digging our way back up.
I tweeted out asking who should be the Browns starter next year, and Anthony Richardson was on that list, and I feel like no one voted for him. Broke my heart.
Depending on the price, there would be less interesting things that they could do for sure.
Yeah, the options were Shedeur Sanders, Anthony Richardson, Drew Aller, and Matt Corral.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking Richardson.
Richardson came in third.
Dude, he's underrated, bro. Watch his game against Denver, dude. His last year, that defense. Watch the real tape. All right. Watch the real tape.
We will be tuned. We will be dialed.
But yeah, the Stroud, I don't know what you do. The defense was so real. I think you knew that you had to live with probably a Drake May strip sack. Like you just kind of you knew it was going to happen on Will Anderson with the game he just played against Owe, allowing that strip sack. Like you knew that May was going to hang in there with all the sacks he had taken and all the fumbles he had. It's like, and you'll take the strips if it means 2 touchdowns. If it means he hangs in there and hits a throw to Booty like he did, it hangs in there and hits a throw to Diggs like he did. And they really took that to its extremes. But at the end of the day, thinking back at it, there were a lot of throws that I liked from May. I thought he had one to Diggs before halftime that was really elite, and Lassiter got a fingertip on it. But I was like, wow, that's a really good throw. And maybe good defense does beat the perfect throw sometimes. I thought going into halftime, I was like, they're getting enough push up front, and May has made enough big throws where I think they can maintain this lead. It wasn't a good game from May by any means. He's got to protect the football more. But
given the teams
you
kind of
knew
the playoffs,
you kind of knew that.
I think they could win it, man.
I think so too. Carlton Davis, 2 picks. Gonzo, crazy game from him again. Milton Williams, Barmore, getting a ton of push for sure. I think it's very possible. Ramondre Stevenson, as long as he's not fumbling, is a good running back. Clearly the better option of the 2 in the committee was one of my takeaways. We'll see about Benito on Will Campbell here.
Sure.
Because he's looking a little guardy.
About that.
Yeah, I'm worried about that too.
We didn't talk about Marcus Jones, though. Shout out Marcus Jones. Absolute heater of a game, dude. I mean, he got the game ball, right? He had to get the game ball after that.
When Stroud threw that pick and it popped up in the air and 25 came down with it, you're like, oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, dude. He had a hell of a game.
He was crazy. Yeah, they're a good team. They are a good team.
If their defense is playing like this, if their defense is playing, because that was kind of I feel like the big concern coming into the playoffs is how good is this defense really? They don't have the craziest pass rush in the world. And they have Gonzo, but how good is their secondary really? But I mean, dude, they've been so dialed.
Yeah, they've called a little bit of everything. I think they've been maybe a little bit over aggressive, but who's going to punish that? Like they've not gone against the craziest slate of quarterbacks. Like is Stidham going to punish that if they're
when
blitzing?
you look at the teams left, I mean, Stidham obviously, like maybe you would like to be aggressive against a backup. Darnold, I mean, he struggled with aggressive stuff before. Stafford, I mean, we just saw what happened in the Bears game, so maybe being aggressive is the meta right now when you're just looking at the three, potential
it's not
teams that
Prime
you have
Rodgers
to win the Super Bowl.
It's not Prime Rodgers or Mahomes or anything like that. So they definitely were a little greedy, I thought, on defense, trying to force those big plays, and they got greedy and got a big payout. And I think they can probably do the same thing versus Stidham. And yeah, it has been a pretty cushy run of offenses that they've gone up against, but not a cushy run of defenses. Not a cushy run of defenses at all.
No,
so
not at all.
Yeah. I also thought they should have done more. Sorry, I'm going on, but
that's fine.
Some play action stuff. I was waiting for the play action shot. They kept kind of getting under center and running stuff. It's like, man, Will Campbell needs some help. Like, you need some big plays. I kept waiting for kind of that long bomb off play action, and it never came. I thought they could have done maybe a little bit more to negate Will Anderson. They played completely unafraid of him. Maybe not
in the rain. I don't know.
But whatever they did not like. I was thinking like one strip sack, and there were four. I think McDaniels came in a little bit overestimating what Will Campbell could do on an island.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, we'll see next week. They're going to be in Denver, Mile High, so it'll be interesting. It will be. But we'll get there. We will be back, of course, to preview these games as well, talk about the continuing hectic coaching carousel that's been going on. Every team that needs a coach has been going through multiple rounds of interviews. Of course, the Falcons have already hired Kevin Stefanski, and we could talk about that later as well. But I think that'll wrap things up for this episode. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Getting closer and closer to the Super Bowl. Hard to say right now who it's going to be.
3 games. I'm still good. Patriots Seahawks was my pick before the playoffs, and that's what I'm sticking with.
Feels really good. That does feel really good. But I don't know. Maybe your mind will change by the time we get to watch some of the film from these games and see what
I don't think it will.
You don't think it will? Well, okay. So we don't even need to have another episode. No more episodes, guys. This is it before the Super Bowl. No. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And until next time, as always, from your favorite fellas here at Stay Hot, we will catch you on the flippity flop.